Woof! All right, folks. All right. Here we go again. Whew, this is interesting because right at the time I'm recording this video, AMC and GameStop are now running after hours. And before even the close of the day, we saw a kind of recovery, strong recovery into the later part of the trading session, indicating some signs of strong recovery into both of these stocks. But we had some information right at the close of the the trading session today, that is indicating that we might see another potential big short squeeze in the play. Finally, is it going to be this one that are going to send the short sale to the to hit to the hell gates, folks? Because when you read in details what GameStop just announced, man, you cannot be anything but super bullish as ever before. Let me join you. Let me take you to exactly what I'm talking about here. So you can see at some point AMC closed around we closed at 24.64, and we even managed to get back to the green territory within the session. That is a 10% move. That is a 10% move from the lows of today. But right after the market close, boom, you saw this huge, giant move of another 9% move. And on GameStop, we also have pretty much a 20% move on the upside. We're talking about almost $199 to $198 a share. This is after hours, so it is huge. So what is happening with GameStop? Well, listen clearly because they're announcing something huge here.
Steve Kovac, he's our man of the hour. He's here with more. What's going on
That's
here?
right, Scott. You cannot get rid of me. GameStop, they're doing a stock split through a dividend. This is kind of similar to what we saw with Tesla the other day when they did their 5-to-1 stock split. So they're going from 300 million shares to 1 billion shares. It will be through a dividend and will need shareholder approval. That's the news, sending shares up. Looks like 11.5% right now. Scott.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Ryan Cohen, obviously chairman of the board. Who knows if this is orchestrated by Mr. Cohen, but certainly you have to believe it has the seal of approval at very least of him. And by the way, he pledged his support, or if not double down, or whatever you want to characterize it as recently. He bought 100,000 shares in GameStop. Right. Something like a week ago.
Yeah, he's been picking them up, and then also we know GameStop's been on a new tear with this whole new resurgence in meme stocks between this and AMC. We're seeing again, it feels like early 2020 all over again. So yeah, this split is sending shares higher just a couple days after they approved this split.
So guys, there you go. It's about a stock split in the form of a dividend because the company is willing to seek for shareholders' approval in the next meeting, which I believe should happen around May. I'm not really sure for the exact date, but a stock split, we're going to talk about it in a second here, but this comes after the video game retailer said he will seek stockholder approval at the next shareholder meeting for an increase in the number of Class A common stock from 300,000 shares outstanding out there up to 1 billion shares to partly conduct a stock split in the form of a stock dividend. Highlight the stock dividend part of it, all right? Because this is huge, people. Let me explain. A stock split, what is it exactly? Well, a stock split is literally because you're willing to increase the amount of shares, and we're going to talk about it in a second here, but a stock split, for those of you who don't know what it is literally what we heard about, Google or Tesla announcing earlier last week, all right? And they did it a couple of months ago, last year. Let's just say now you are holding 100 shares of GameStop, all right? Those 100 shares of GameStop, well, if they decide to do a 5-to-1 split or 2-to-1 split, so your 100 shares now, in case of a 2-to-1, means for every shares that you currently own, you're going to get 2 of those, all right? So instead of 1, you're going to get 200. Now, if they do a 5-to-1, instead of 100 shares, or for each of the shares that you hold, so for 100 you're going to have 5 of those. That lifts your position to 500 shares, and they do that because by doing so it doesn't change literally the value of the company per se, but it only increases the amount of outstanding shares be out there. All right, so that's the case. Now, if you pay close attention to the market and the history of stock splits across Wall Street for the last, I don't know, 5 years or so, anytime a company made a stock split, the share price jump because this is bullish. Now, what is even super bullish about it is the fact that they're going to do this in a form of a dividend coming to it. So this is the cherry on the cake, folks. Why? Because this actually, in this current play, not only increases the liquidity, meaning it increases the amount of people that can own GameStop. Now, this is talking about GameStop, folks, but let's not forget that GameStop and AMC are brothers. They do trade in tandem. So whatever is happening here with GameStop, you can actually expect to have a repercussion into what AMC will do. Why? Because those were kind of the main highly shorted stocks. They're kind of in the same sector, all right, brick and mortar entertainment industry, and they are highly shorted by the same exact short sellers that are in both. So that's why anything happening to GameStop is a definitely good thing. So we do know that, well, usually when you do a stock split, it's also because you want to get your share price a little more attractive. You want to get your share price a little more affordable. All right. So what do you think Google trading in the 1,000 or Amazon trading in the 3,000 or Tesla trading in the 1,000 will do a stock split? Because for some people, it gets expensive. Look, a couple of days ago or last week when GameStop chairman Ryan Cohen bought 100,000 shares of GameStop, those 100,000 shares, he had to expense almost $10 million, all right? So he's a billionaire, so that's pretty much nothing to him. But let's just imagine for a second, those $10 million, how much more shares will it be worth if the stock was trading around $40 or $50? That's around five shares per one of a split given the current position. So the 200% divided by 5 will be now trading at $40 a share. All right. So it increases the amount of liquidity out there. But what is very interesting and juicy and exciting about this stock split here is the fact that we do know that not only by doing a stock split, you are increasing the amount of shares to be traded, you're reducing the share price, so you're attracting a lot more people. But it also increases the volume in the option chain. So if you are holding a contract for a call, for example, if they do a 5-to-1 split, which by looking at the numbers increasing to 300 millions now to maybe $1 billion, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do that in one shot, but they have the ability to increase that at $1 billion. So they can probably do a 3-to-1 or maybe a 5-to-1 or maybe a 10-to-1. So let's just say whatever they do is 5-to-1. All right. It also increases the amount of calls that you are holding. All right. Same thing if you are holding some puts. So it increases the buying pressure, which is not good ultimately for the shorts, because the shorts at some point will have to increase the amount of money that they need in order to continue to maintain these positions. But the dividend to be expelled, the dividend to be detached, the dividend to be paid will have to be paid in the form of the real shares. We do know here that we have a bunch of synthetics, both for GameStop and AMC. So whatever is happening here will actually create another potential destruction of all the short sellers, because everybody now will be rushing to get out. Or the lenders who actually lended or gave the shares for the borrowers to use and short sell will actually be in panic mode because they need to find the money as soon as possible, because I bet you that the lenders are now recalling those shares, because you cannot get the dividend if you don't own the shares. All right. So anybody else will get their hands on the real shares, but because we know that there are many more outstanding fake shares than real shares, it's just a matter of time before this thing explodes. I mean, look at how it is currently trading now for both of them. GameStop is trading at what? 195. All right, and AMC is trading at what? Let me refresh. 26. So what is gonna happen tomorrow? Maybe AMC reaches back to 30 and finally explodes to 35. I don't know. Maybe GameStop finally touches 200, stays there, and then continue to grind up to 250. Nobody knows. But the reality is, people are liking this, and short sellers should be in trouble. And this is very exciting. Oh, man.